Hey, Jesus, David here. What happened to the church and the government? Back in ancient times, the government would go to the church to make its decisions. Most wars, such as the Crusades and the War of 312, in which Constantine had a dream in which he wrote an insignia on his shield, which would win him the war. There was even a word to describe when God chose a ruler, called divine right. It's even shown in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when God chooses King David to rule over Islam. Yes, the church and the government is separated, but the church still subconsciously helps us form good citizens by giving us what is good and what is bad. What is good is saving human life. What is bad is diminishing or taking a life. This is shown through Jesus' teachings in the New Testament. Throughout the history, it was easy to see that the church had somewhat of an influence in the government. Back in medieval ages, church had its own hierarchy and contributed to the society hierarchy, in which peasants could move up the ranks in the church hierarchy, but in society hierarchy, they would stay at that level. The religion influenced much of the society's hierarchy. If you were Catholic, and most people were Catholic, you would be a higher hierarchy. But if you were another religion, you would be at the bottom hierarchy. Also, during the medieval ages, the Crusades were a thing. The Crusades were a set of war, 18 in total, in which Catholic Pope Papias had told people to fight the Muslims for control over Jerusalem again, the Holy Land, as they like to call it. The Crusades were a bloody and unmerciful wars in which millions of Muslims had died. There's a big separation between church and state. The separation is that the church is a belief and the state is rights. Both of them have different leaders. Church has God, and society either has kings, queens, tyrants, presidents, or anybody else that's in charge. Both have different viewpoints. An example is abortion. Abortion is not okayed by the church, but by society reasons, it's okay. They don't always have the same viewpoints, but sometimes they do, like murder. Murder is not good for either side. Three cases in which the church has been involved in issues of society are the Selma March, the Right for Women, and the Crusades. The Selma March was a black activist movement march in 1965 in which a priest of a church nearby was the only white male present at the march. In the same place, three sisters from a church nearby would build a hospital for only African American citizens. Pope Francis said that men and women are the same and they should not be discriminated against. There's nothing that separates either one of them. They are both born and seen under God's eyes as the same brothers and sisters. He challenged what the government had said for years, in which many women didn't have that much rights. It changed for the better when Pope Francis had spoke out. The Crusades, as I've explained it, were a set of wars to retake the Holy Land, which is Jerusalem. In the end, many people died, and the land was won, but at the cost of many lives. In the end, the Crusades were a terrible and disastrous thing that the church had endorsed. And that's how the church and society has changed for the better or for the worse. No one knows. It's what you think. This has been G Sauce, and I'm David. Oh.